Welcome to the Agree to Disagree podcast. I'm your host, Empire Jeff, back with another episode. Been a few weeks. That little last Cancun episode I did had me a little turned up, and probably been partying on that ever since. Partied so much, man, that the Western Conference Finals ended before I wanted it to. My Lakers wet the bed, got swept. We know that. We know that. But at least I get to share today's show with another guy whose team wet the bed in the Boston Celtics. Man, they should
Just
have fucked up that script for us, didn't they? They fucked up the script for us, man. My man DJ Deadeye. What's up, Deadeye?
yeah, the script kind of got messed up a little bit. Injuries
Yeah.
got in the way. It is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. It happens. I feel like the Lakers pretty much ran out of gas. You guys kind of ran out of health, ran out of luck. And man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I thought for sure I was kind of like there was like a civil war within myself of one, I really wanted this 3-0s, down 3-0s, impossible shit to finally end. But then I was like, if it ends and it's the Celtics, oh my God, we're never gonna hear the end of this. But I was, don't get me wrong, there was part of me that was like, man, because I feel it's gonna happen sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to happen the other day. It's just, it just didn't happen.
The way teams can shoot threes. So it's like you can go down 0-3 just because you're not making it. Then you get hot. And then it's like, or you can go up 3-0 because you're cooking and then go cold. So it's just like back in the day when you had like a really good defensive team that had solid bigs, you were never coming back down 3-0. They were just beating you to death. But when it's out there, just put it in the air and throwing up shots, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So,
and then like in Miami's case, they could just go zone and like not even expend like much energy on defense and just run down and shoot threes,
Yeah, and then just Jimmy with those timely buckets, and he wasn't great, the last couple of games of that series, but just enough, right? Yeah,
I think the injuries just caught up, man. It was just bad, like between Brogdon being out since game like 1 or 2, and then White hyperextending, and then obviously Tatum twisting an ankle, and Brown really wasn't right since the end of that Philly series when he smashed his elbow into the ground. That's why I think some of that handle stuff comes from, because he smashed his left arm into the ground and then was trying to play it off like it was fine, when every game after that he was terrible shooting and terrible dribbling.
Yeah, Brown didn't look good all playoffs to me. Like he really didn't.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good in a couple games in Atlanta, and then a couple games in the Philly series. But in the game set, was it 7? No, it was like 6 or something when he slipped and bashed his shit. He didn't play good after that at all. Like not one game after that he played good. Like no averages were hit, and none of the rest of the games.
So that's like the problem when you make deep playoff runs, right? It's just like guys are pretty much beat up going into the playoffs. Everyone's hurt at that point, but then it's just the stuff that just piles on, right? And he just never looked right for me. To me, I like Jalen. I've often said like I think he's a lot closer to Tatum than people think as far as his star value and his level of play.
For sure.
It was hard to make that argument this postseason, but maybe injuries are definitely part of that. But I do believe that if hold on real quick, I believe that if Tatum did not sprain his ankle, they win that game though. I
think they win. I think they win the series earlier if Brogdon doesn't get hurt either. Because Brogdon would score 20 off the bench like nothing, and the lineups with him and Tatum out there, and then a bunch of just spot up guys was like deadly. So when him going down, and then now you don't got 20 points off the bench, you got White trying to do double the work. It just wasn't. You couldn't make up those points because Jalen wasn't playing well and Tatum was on and off. You know what I mean?
In that
he was
the
only real consistent scorer. But I mean, obviously you're gonna get Tatum go walk to 30 points, but Brogdon would just come in and lights out 3 and go to the hole and get to the line. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was his
in that game 6. I was actually at my niece's birthday party. Like we were at like a bowling alley, right? And I don't really bowl. I'm not that good at it. I'll get out there, talk my trash like him. I'm not very good at it, So do it or whatever. We're watching the game, and as it got towards the end, everyone's kind of forming around the TV, and it's like the place is filled with Laker fans, right? So the shot goes up, but Marcus took that shot and he misses it. And I kid you not, the entire bowling alley thought the game was over. Like Laker fans were like celebrating. Like, they blew it. And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. I've seen this too many times, right? I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, I thought it was over too. I'm not gonna lie. I did not see the tip in because there are people jumping in my way. I look up and then I just see Derek White running around and doing like the pointing down thing, like to count it. I was like, that motherfucker made the shot, didn't he? Like, it's only a matter of does it count, right? It went in, but I didn't see it. And the place is going crazy. And they huddled up before they even did the replay and counted it. And if I could tell you the way a mood switched in a place from like people celebrating for something that wasn't their team to like pissed over something. And I was just like, oh man, that was crazy. Because again, awesome. part of me, I really didn't have a dog in the race, but like I said, I wanted to see this go to 7 because my team's out. I wanted more games. You know what I mean? It wasn't about who was going to win it. But I thought legit that Miami won, and the whole place thought Miami won. And then literally it was like freaking church in there after that. You couldn't hear nothing.
That's so funny.
Hilarious, bro. Hilarious. And I was just
I went online and started watching a bunch of like reaction videos from like the Miami fans.
Yeah.
I love seeing shit like that.
I can imagine them, bro. I can imagine them. You often like wonder. I always wonder what it must have felt like when for Sacramento when Ori hit that shot, or like San Antonio when Ori hit that shot. Like,
dude, I watch them. Dude, I watch them all the time. You know, my favorites are Seattle Seahawks, Malcolm Butler.
Oh God, that one was another one.
That shit's amazing, bro. Those reaction videos are amazing.
Yeah,
definitely check them out.
One, because that one of all was probably the most unexcusable one. You know what I mean? like if you're a Seahawk fan, like how do you even allow Pete Carroll to stay in that city? But that's a different, because like, oh my God, that one was next level. Like, no way that happens, right?
Yeah, those reaction videos are amazing, bro. And then the ones that are good too, the Falcons one with the Patriots 28-3 is good, but only because it's a long, like, everything's good. And then it just goes left, like so crazy that by the end, they're like, fuck, you know?
I told everybody during that game, I don't give a fuck what the score is. I don't care what the score is. I am not comfortable against Brady unless it's this score with 5 minutes left. Like, you guys are celebrating way too early for this. I was like, I've never been more confident in a team coming back than I was in Brady in that game. I'm dead serious. Like, I was taking bets. I was like, let's do this, because I just didn't trust Atlanta, and 2, like, Brady, he was just like, bad half. I'm coming for you next one. Let's go. And it was you just see greatness so many times, and it's just like, you're gonna have to show me you can't pull it off. Is the way I see
for real. Especially if he gets close. If he gets close, forget it. And he gets one last shot at it to tie or win. See you later, bro.
So what was the mood like in I mean, I can imagine though, but at this point,
that's a lot of, you know how it is, man. When you get to this point and you get to this time of the year and your team's in it, there's only 2 or 3 other teams. Like, you got mad casuals watching, people that don't even know what the hell's going on, don't even know the players' names. So and then now you have social media and fake news and all this stuff. So you just don't hear everything, bro. That's why I don't even pay attention to nothing when after like your team loses, you know what I'm saying? And then you go, like, after a few weeks, then you go back to like the beat guys that you normally, you know what I mean, before like the draft or before free agency, then you start retapping in. But there's so many like fake reporters that come out right after, if your team's one of the last teams, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So the media was, it was good and bad, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's a bunch of people being like, "Oh, they blew it," and I'm like, "What did they blow, bro? They weren't even supposed to be here. They just played well enough to be here. Like, their fucking coach got changed like 4 days before the fucking shit started, dude."
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because we'll get back to that series. But let's put this into perspective, because I thought about that like in length. About, imagine that it happened to your team where, first of all, you don't let Hardy go to Utah if you know you're getting rid of.
Of course,
he's your best assistant at that point, right? So
he's the number 2 guy.
Yeah, you lose him because you got Ime, right? Okay, and then you don't let Mazzulla go because he's going to be, an up and coming coach.
In Hardy's at least moving up.
Yeah.
Because Mazzulla, prior to him being, moving up, when Hardy was gone, before the Ime thing happened. The way he got on the team was he was Tatum's guy. He's Tatum's like one-on-one guy.
Yeah.
and then he moved up the second year before getting the. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's like what I'm saying is like they let Hardy go. They weren't gonna let him go join his staff. They wanted to keep some of that together. So it's like just imagine where they'd be if they did let him go, right? And then you said this blows up right before the season, and your lead assistant is gone, and you're really your only other choice. And all the top candidates have already got jobs. You're not gonna
everybody started. It's 4 days. You don't have no.
Yeah. So then you're sitting there and you're like, okay, you're gonna go with this guy, and it sucks for him because then honestly, the guy wasn't ready, right? He wasn't. He was probably he might have been okay on a younger team. The guy was not ready to take a team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Going up against a guy like Eric Spoelstra, like he wasn't ready, and it's not his fault. No one would be. What is he? 34? Like he's never even
again. You know what's wild? Again, Tatum don't get hurt. They're ready and they go to the final.
I get it.
That's crazy though.
But it's like maybe that series is over if he's a little bit more seasoned, right? Maybe
of course, that's what I was saying. And if Brogdon don't get hurt, and it is what it is.
But it's just like I'm not gonna say I think the dude has a chance to be a good coach. It's just I felt like it was really unfair and unrealistic, especially with me and you talked during the season. I was like, trust me, man, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I think you should put Vogel on that bench. Remember what I was telling you? I was like, because he's a guy that's won a chip. He's great defensively. You need some offensive guys if you've got someone like Vogel. But I felt someone like him could help them. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, Mazzulla's an offensive coach. That's why their offense was so kick ass at the beginning of the year. You know what I'm saying? Because he was running all types of new things that wrinkles that they hadn't used. That's why the defense struggled a little bit, right? So I think what ended up happening in the playoffs was when he was good all season, really. The only thing that was really fucking him up was like the timeouts and shit.
Yeah, he struggled with those.
So he lost Stoudemire in March, and that was his lead guy. Yeah. And that was a former NBA guy, guys that everybody respected in that locker room. You know what I mean? And he leaves, and now you're even more bare because you don't have Hardy, like you're saying, or anybody like that. You know what I mean? Not even no former players, on that bench. So that's why immediately after the season, they get Cassell. They get, I forgot what the second hire was.
I know they were gonna get. I thought they were gonna get Silas, but it looks like he went to Detroit. I know he was around like the Celtics practices a lot. I think more than anything, Brad was just trying to look out for him. Say if you don't get something else, I'll probably find something for you. You know what I mean? But, then he ended
Cassell being the #1 hire is great. I'm also hearing about Rondo being an assistant coach.
I want him on the Lakers so bad as an assistant.
That'd be cool.
I hope you don't beat.
I think he'd be cool in the C's because he'd bring some fucking fire to some of those guys. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's up on one of those two teams. He just loves both cities.
For sure.
Both. But the Sam Cassell thing leads me to believe that Doc is not getting the job this year because he's been on every bench.
I think. But they gave it to Adrian whatchamacallit, right? I thought he was more suited for Milwaukee. So what's left? What are the jobs left?
Toronto. Toronto and
that's not a bad gig.
I think it's not a bad gig, but
you got some players there.
It's not gonna be Doc. Like they want they like creative, just on the fly coaches. Doc style is Doc style. He'll get you to the playoffs. He can get you deep in the playoffs. But if you go up against a coach, it's just gonna just throw different stuff at you. He struggles to adjust. It's kind of always been his MO, but he can get a team there consistently. Like no doubt about that. But I think they're looking for someone who's a little bit more like a Nick Nurse or like a Tyronn Lue or someone that's known for the adjustments. Even though Clippers fans will tell you that Ty Lue makes no adjustments, I think that's crazy. But it just so I think it signals he's not gonna coach this year because
that's the only job.
Phoenix got theirs. Milwaukee got theirs. Detroit got theirs.
Yeah.
Unless I could be forgetting something. I very well could be forgetting something. But I know most of them got off field. I think Toronto was the last one left. Barring, I don't see either team that loses in the finals firing their head coach, right? So, I don't see the only job I think that's out there is Toronto, and he's not a fit for it. So I don't think Doc hasn't been out since he left Orlando, right? That gap between Orlando and Boston. He's coached every year since like 2005.
since he went back, since he got into when he coached us, right? Yeah, for sure. Once he started coaching the Celtics, he's been in the league pretty much.
Yeah, Philly right after that, and it's like
LA, then Philly, right?
Yeah, so he's he'll probably maybe go back to TV. Maybe he's just thinking about that. But anyways, I mean, I talk Lakers all day, so I'm not gonna point at this show to get a Celtics perspective, Eastern Conference perspective, and I will get to the Lakers at some point. But I want to talk about I've underestimated Miami in every single round, except for maybe round 2. I didn't see them. I honestly didn't have them making the playoffs when I saw how the playing went. They lost to Atlanta.
Yeah, this has been a wild. This has been a wild ass playoffs.
I didn't see them making it.
They've caught some breaks. They've caught some breaks for sure.
No doubt. But they've also taken advantage of those breaks. So they lose to Atlanta. They catch the Bulls. You got playoff Jimmy versus play-in Pat. They take him out, and then you get and then they get Milwaukee, and I was like, okay, they're not beating Milwaukee. And then they did rather easily, as just the masterclass of Coach Bud of how not to finish out a series coaching, right? And it sucks, heard what happened to his brother. We didn't know that at the time. So obviously he had, the things on his mind and in his heart, which is totally understandable. I don't know if I can even coach after losing a sibling, bro. But
and then Giannis all fucked up.
Yeah, so they escaped that.
Giannis missed 3 games. Like,
they escaped that.
Got lucky, bro.
I picked New York to beat them, but that was just out of kind of like nostalgia.
They should have beat them. They should have beat them. The problem is that it's a size thing, man.
Randall was hurt too. So
Randall was hurt. It just happens, man. It happens at this point.
Jimmy was hurt too. Jimmy rolled his ankle in that series too. So and they didn't have Hero. You know what I mean? So it's like so
Hero's supposed to come back this game.
They said, but now he's saying he doesn't know if he wants to mess up the flow, but we'll see what goes from there. But so they escape New York and then get you guys. And when they go in and take you guys down 1-0, I never worried too much about 1-0. Yeah. I never really worried too much about a game 1. But when they took you guys 2-0, I was like, oh man, okay, this is
that was weird. Again, up in the game and then lose it in the end.
Yeah,
same deal.
And the way they lost those games, and I'm just like, that's a problem, and they go, and then game 3, it's just a good old fashioned passionate ass whooping, right? In game 3, and you're like, okay, it's a wrap, and then you hear that, don't let us get 1, that starts going. All we need is 1. They get 1, they come back, they get that one again, but even though Miami still comes back, and they had control of the game. I don't think they ever got it lower than like 8 in game 5. In game 6, they came back. They had that game 1, and then both teams kind of blew the end of that game, right? And then in just game 7,
not Derek White.
not Derek. No, I'm talking about how they managed at the end of that game.
Like, I know.
Yeah. So but then
Derek White saved the season, man.
Yeah, game 7 comes along, and it wasn't out the gate, right? It was like, okay, Celtics started off great. They started, and then it just
my homeboy twisting his ankle right away.
Yeah,
he tried to thug it out, but you could see
he just didn't have it. He just didn't have it. Let alone on defense. He was trying on offense, but he couldn't even have push. He couldn't guard nobody. They were targeting him. They're gonna have him on the floor, and they're doing what they're supposed to do, right? So then that goes, and then everyone's like, Miami's gonna get swept. They're gonna lose in 5. Like, I get it, because I didn't think we were gonna get swept by Denver. Not at all. Not in a million years, especially the way we were playing. I understood Denver was playing great. They were solid. The funny thing about our series is, we got swept, but we were in every single game. It was a sweep, but it was a competitive series. It's weird as that sounds, but they got swept. That's where a lot of Laker fans are pissed about Malone talking shit. But I'm like, they beat us. He can say whatever he wants. We got nothing.
Yeah, it's what it is, yo. Like, it is what it is.
He said this, he said that. He beat us. He swept us. Until he loses, he can run his mouth. That's what I always say. You want to shut someone up, you beat them. That's the only way you can do it, right? So
when put the fuck up,
Yeah, I can't sit there and complain about it. You know what I mean? They swept us. So I would have loved to have beat them, and I would love to have something to talk shit back. But honestly, I like Mike Malone. I think he's a good coach, and I think he's paid his dues. You know what I mean?
think there's just their time, man. They made it to the conference finals in the bubble. Then they had terrible injuries where they didn't do much, and then now they're healthy, and now they made it. Like, they just got lucky. Like, it's all luck. Like, yes, it's skills and shit going on, but it's luck too.
Luck is a major part. Major part. Who you match up with?
random role guys stepping up at the right time. Like, you know, they got Bruce Brown. They got what's the other dude for them that's killing it?
As far as what Bruce Brown has been killing them. Well, Murray's been killing. Porter Jr. hasn't even been crazy yet. You know what I mean?
Nah, he's been on and off. He'll have one good game, one bad game.
Stepping up. Gordon's been stepping up. But Bruce Brown has been a cheat code for them, man.
Yeah,
I was telling everybody, the funny thing is, if you let Murray and Jokic go off, but if you can stop, like Bruce Brown comes in those minutes in between and gives you high energy, and that kind of changed the game on us so many times because he can do that. You know, he's a heck of a player.
Yeah, he's a beast, man.
But everyone keeps trying to talk about this Nugget team like it's 2020. Like they'll say, well, you beat them in 2020. It's not the same Nuggets team, and it's not the same Lakers.
Now they got Bruce Brown. I mean? Who's the other guy on the bench? I mean, KCP, bro.
Okay, no, he starts. KCP's been money.
That's what I'm saying. They got other guys that are adding to. They already got two really, really good guys. You know what I'm saying?
So better than they were in 2020, and they've got the experience now.
And deeper. And you know, Malone got more experience, and he knows the team more. Jokic is that much iller. You know what I'm saying?
So like when they're coming out of this and we're seeing what Denver just did to my Lakers, and we're seeing what Miami survived, you know, what they did to Boston and then survived, you know, that almost historic comeback. And you really thought they were gonna get swept? Like you legit thought that?
I thought they were gonna get swept, yeah.
Yeah. So
this is the shit, right? This is the strategy. And it's because you never really think of Spo like that. You know what I'm saying? You do, obviously, but I'm saying like when you're thinking about what's gonna happen in the series, you don't really factor in Spo like that. So not even Mike Malone either, right? So you're looking at size, you're looking at Jokic, super ill passer, you're looking at zone, you're like, oh, he's gonna pick that apart. They don't got no answer for him, Bam can't touch him. And then Spo junks the game up and switches things every 10 minutes and bam, now they got to win. You know what I'm saying? So
throwing out there,
I think, but the thing is, I think that Malone and Denver's best players are hip to what these guys are trying to do. So yeah, it worked once. Let's see it work again. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it almost they made a game of game one, even though it was a blowout.
Yeah, I think these guys just got lazy, to be honest with you, in game one.
Well, they started in the fourth quarter, late in that fourth quarter with that 2-2-1 zone with press and having that one fire from the back and come trap the dude up top, and it threw him off a little bit. And then he saw that work a little bit and used it a lot more in game two. So I got to think he's probably got a couple more combos, something like that lined up.
Yeah, that's he got wrinkles for days. You know what I mean? What it is that Denver can't beat themselves.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
So it's like Denver, don't let Jokic become one-dimensional because that's not how you guys win.
And you saw how quick Spo shut down the ESPN reporter when she tried to say that, and he literally roasted her because he's like, "Shut up! Do not talk about that." Basically, did you see that interview?
Yeah.
Like, you know, they say you either make him a passer or make her a scorer. And he's like, that's just ridiculous. That sounds like someone with an untrained eye or something like that, right? And he knows who she is, and he knows she knows what she's talking about. But he doesn't.
It's real, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't want that being discussed.
Jokic had 40 points and less than 10 assists in the second game. They lost.
Yeah. But he why he doesn't want them talking about it. Like he doesn't want that.
That's it.
Yeah. So he was a dick.
Yo, he gets 10 rebounds and 10 plus assists. They winning. Because he's gonna get 20 something. There's nothing for him to get 20 something.
Yep. Tatum
would cakewalk to 30 points like every night. So what do you think Jokic is doing? Like that's crazy.
It's almost impossible to stop NBA scorers from scoring in today's age. It's just the way they call the games, the rules. Like it's designed for offense to flow and for guys to get buckets and highlights. You know, to reign supreme, right? So it's like to sit here and think that you're gonna. Like a guy like Tatum, a guy like, the instant offensive guys, the guys like the Kawhis or, the Devin Bookers or
Lillard.
But and any of these dudes, you can play great defense and still give up 40. At the end of the day, it's either shots fall or they don't, right? And then it's like Yeah, or KD, and it's just like they just had an off night, or they're having an off stretch, or they're in a slump, whatever it is. But it's rarely one man just shutting down an offensive player like that. It's no, a team can get out there if a guy doesn't have enough help, and you can zone in on him, then you can make life real difficult for him. But if he's got another baller or two out there with him, it's really hard to stop guys from getting 110, 115 on any given night. It's just too tough. So when you're sitting out there, so when you see a guy, so I agree with you, a guy like Tatum, who I've often said, I don't believe Tatum was the superstar that everyone was crowning him so early at, but the guy's a bucket. When he's determined, putting his head down and not settling for long twos and like settling for just only threes, when he's deciding like I'm gonna try to go for 50 tonight and be aggressive, you're not stopping him.
It's a wrap.
You're not stopping him. So when you got guys like that, and then when he's not bringing it, what I will say is sometimes he gets a little indecisive and disappears sometimes in games, because I think he's still trying to figure out who he is as a scorer, like where his spots are. And is he just going to be a guy who's going to shoot this many threes, or is he going to implement the midi, even though, that front office
the midi,
telling him not to?
That's the shit. The midi this year, he was better at. His 3 percentage was the worst this year of his career.
Yeah.
On pull-ups. So his mid game was better than his 3 game. For him, I feel like he just gotta take control of what he can take control of, and then let everything else come. Because he can do all the levels. It's just about, okay, well, let me fall back here. Usually how it goes is like JB will go off on the first quarter just to get warm and hot, and he'll score like 12 or 14 points in the first quarter. Or Tatum, it depends. They'll flip flop, and then after that, Tatum will start getting going. You know what I mean? He's gonna cakewalk. He cakewalks to 30 points. Like he'll 10 free throws, and maybe like 6 shots. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so hard to stop scores in today's league. But
for him, he just gotta go to the hole, get fouled, go to the line, and then start with the mid range, and then everything else opens up.
Now, what do you think?
He did a great job this year of being a playmaker and sensing double teams and where the traps are coming from and things like that, and kicking the ball out. His assists went up, I believe, by like 1 or 2 this year.
Oh, they increased for sure. Do you think Jaylen Brown starts next season as a Celtic or no?
Hell yeah.
You do?
Ain't going nowhere.
Do you think he finishes the season as a Celtic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So do you think they supermax him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see, because I have to ask.
I don't really see the downside in doing that. I know the new CBA can pigeonhole them a little bit, but that shit changes.
It's not a little bit. So it's like,
no, I know what it is. It's just they got to make decisions faster than they would have in prior years.
Well, my other thing is this. We'll get back to the finals in a second, but I want to ask Celtics fans this. So it's like, if you got to max Tatum, that's a given. You're going to super max Tatum. That's 100%. If you super max Tatum and you super max Brown, you probably can't keep all these other guys that give you that depth, like the Brogdons, the Marcus Smarts. I don't know if that means for re-signing Grant Williams. I don't know what it does like to your depth. You know what I mean? Now they can get away with it another year. They can get away with another year.
Even maxing him is going to form some type of issue as well, just because of the way the CBA.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, if they start getting in with, there are teams who are going to have high payroll with just max guys. It's going to be really hard for teams to hold on to 2 super max extension guys and still build a competitive team. So I'm interested to see. It's more than likely Smart or Brogdon are going to have to go. Like, that's probably
I think Brogdon only has a year left, I believe, anyway, in his deal. It was a 1-1.
He's probably got to go, and
unless he takes less money. A lot of these guys, these fringe guys, are older. So maybe they want to, like, all right, so like Horford was making big money last year. This year he's making like half of that, like less than half of that.
He's a lot older than Brogdon.
And then he restructured that for even a better deal, team deal. So stuff like that, I believe, is going to happen. Some of these guys, like I know Brogdon really liked it out here, and he thinks this is the best place he's ever been in his career.
Yeah,
So
I know. I think you
I
want to stay.
believe, a dude like that, who's made a lot of money already, would probably take less bread with more years to just to finish off, because I don't see him playing mad long either like that. He's one of those dudes who's not going to play a lot of years. He might get to like 13 or something and then call it a wrap.
I mean, he's what, 7 years in, 7, 8 years, something like that. If I had to guess.
Yeah, he's like
around there.
Yeah, something like that.
So he's probably got 4 or 5 years now.
He's only yo, it's crazy. He's been in the league that long, and him and Marcus are the same age.
Yeah. Well, he went to college longer than Marcus did. And,
exactly.
He also was injury prone too. So maybe he's like, you know, he might want to just secure that bag. If I had to guess, and I can't guarantee this, obviously. If I had to guess, I think they end up with one of him or Smart and one of the 2 Williamses. I think only 2 of those 4 remain long term. Just because the money is so tough. Man.
I don't know. Not only is the money tough, but the fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if because like the Rob Williams is injury prone as well, and he don't got no offensive skills besides passing and dunking.
Shot
blocking. Yeah, I'm talking about offensive skills. Skills. His defense is amazing, but offensive skills, he's. You know, that's why they be having Al in there, so he could stretch the shit, make a 3, shoot threes, and have JB and JT attack the basket.
Yeah, and at the end of the game, it's hard to have him out there on offense. So
exactly, but you need him for defense. So it's it's tough. So unless he develops some type of offensive game, I don't know how much patient they're gonna be with a player who's injury prone, who doesn't have any offensive skills, who's expensive.
Gotcha. Okay.
Know what I mean? I just don't know how much patience they have with that per se. With Grant is going to depend on the dollar, whatever the dollar amount is, because he's a good player. He's a dope fit. He does dope shit here. He hits timely shots. At some points he was our best role player in the playoffs. So it just depends on dollar amount for him, I believe, in order for him to be here.
Yeah, I think anything outside of that $15 to $18 million range, that may be a little bit steep.
He wants 20 and he's wilding. He needs he should really go for, like, I don't know what's he making now.
He's on the rookie scale, right? I think what it is, but he's not making north of 10 for sure. Like, he's not.
Yeah, so I would tell me, if I was him, to stay in a good situation, I would take like 14, bro, and make it so if you trying to win a chip, bro.
Yeah, no, I get it, and he's
I get it. You young
on the hell. He's in a perfect fit there too. I'm not sure that he goes anywhere else that he gets the same. So yeah, he's way lower than that. He's 4.3 mil this year. I knew he was definitely.
Yeah, dude, you get 10 mil extra a year just to sit on the bench with JB and JT, bro. Like, chillax. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, because if they're going to commit to those guys long term and they figure out that other side of the money, you're potentially, whether people.
I think they're back. I think they're back in the mix. I think they're back in the mix.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They pretty much have been, other than 2021, when pretty much every team from the Final Four in 2020 all paid the bubble tax in 2021. Some earlier than others, but they all paid the bubble tax in 2021. 2022, you guys, the Heat, Denver was hurt, we were hurt, and our roster was in shambles. So it was like, so it's like, but they were right back once they got over the hangover of the bubble, the Heat and the Celtics, right? Once Denver got healthy, and once the Lakers undid one of the dumbest trades in history, they were right back as far as like being in a Final Four situation, right? Yeah. So it's like, the Lakers obviously being with LeBron with his age and AD with his health, they're probably like, the guys got a little bit more to figure out. But when you talk about
they're pushing the envelope. They're trying to get this shit done. But same with us. Same with us. Not in health, not in age wise, but money.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. That's what I'm going to wait to see, because Miami is not cheap on the books either. I don't think people realize that. People say, well, it's just Jimmy and a bunch of like undrafted guys, but they don't realize how much Bam is making, how much Kyle Lowry is making. Tyler Hero already got his extension. Duncan Robinson already got paid. Like, excuse me, there's dudes making a lot of money on the Miami Heat, and people aren't really recognizing that. You know what I mean?
And I don't think all those guys are back.
They can't be. Those shooters, those guys are lighting it up. They can't keep all of them. So the biggest thing what the CBA is going to do is it's like I said, competitive balance is going to be the key term that's going to be used consistently through this whole CBA. Competitive balance, where teams were going 8 to 10 deep as far as like really, really skilled players. You're going to see maybe 4 to 6 deep unskilled players. And then stars, the big 3 era is pretty much dead from a 3 max guy. If you want,
for sure,
it's been dead hypothetically, but now the league is like, it just doesn't make sense anymore. So they want parity, they want competitive balance. This is the way to do it. If you don't draft the guys, and even if you do, like with the Celtics drafting those guys, it's still going to be tough. And teams have to ask. Not every team is going to be like the Warriors. We know most of the teams that get their rings and get those banners, they make the most of their money after the fact. Yeah, when they're back in the lotteries, when they make all their money back, right? So it's like, not every team is going to be like the Warriors, where they're going to be like, okay, we'll just keep printing money. We'll just keep hemorrhaging money. We don't care. A lot of teams aren't going to be like that. So
I don't know. The Celtics can't even afford to be like that, because they don't even own their own building.
Like the Warriors do. Like the Warriors are just a complete different freak of nature. But they're going to have to, they're going to have to pay that bill when long after Steph is gone, and they've kind of sold their basketball souls here a little bit. And at some point, they can go into a dark stretch for a while. And I think teams are going to have to measure against wanting to win now versus, preserving the future at the same time, because that's how you're going to, be relevant. Because these guys, the Warriors, the Clippers, those are smart organizations. I think they'll get ahead of it, but there's a chance that they won't. And that's why the NBA didn't put all those changes in this summer. They're letting kind of teams figure out and finish their run, and they give them a chance to wipe the deck and start over. But if they don't, they get greedy, they're screwed, man, like big time. So
I don't know. That's gonna be tough for them. I don't know how I don't know where they go once Steph and them get old. They're already old, but not when they get ancient.
It's the reason why I keep telling you these legacy executives are leaving. That's why I kept telling you Bob Myers is gone. Like, he's going to go to the Clippers. I go, no, he won't, because that's the same situation he's running from. So check this out. If let's say the Warriors go all in for the next 2-3 years, right? Let's say that we're gonna double down. We're gonna let's say they extend Draymond. Let's say they extend Clay. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying this is the approach. Let's say this is the approach that they take, right? Let's finish what we started, unfinished business, whatever you want to label it. Let's say they sign them. Okay. Now, when that second apron hits and they go into it, okay, if they go into it once over a 4-year span, then that pick gets frozen. They can't trade that seven-year out pick, right? But then what happens is, if 1 year of any of the next 3 years they go to that second apron again, not only can they not trade that pick, but that pitch moves to the end of the first round. So you could have the worst record in the league and get the 30th pick in the draft. So it's like, that's how damaging it is. And like, people aren't that's why Bob Myers is like, I don't want to be here constructing to win now, but then have to be the guy that has to deal with this type of hell later. And I also don't want to make that mess for the next guy. So he's like, his only option was to dip. You get what I'm saying? That's why the Clipper GM, who left for Washington, has been getting offers every single summer for like 5 years and always turns it down until now. He's like, gotta go. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's how detrimental it is. So when I say the Celtics signing Tatum, signing Brown, signing Williams, all this stuff, you could see it to a point where they have a year where they fall off. They're in the lottery and the pick is 30th instead of first, second, or third. So teams are going to be terrified of that, because the media pressure that will hit for the first team that happens to, woo, you know what I'm saying? So
man, hopefully it's a shitty team.
I get it. But what I'm trying to say is, like, this is why people have to really, really think about that shit, because you make one slip up and you're in trouble for some good years. Bro, could you imagine if that happened to the Spurs this year? Like, if they would have got, I don't know what this kid's going to become. I have no idea. I don't know if he's going to be, I don't see how it's possible for him to live up to this next level hype that we've never seen before.
You gotta understand, the last time there was a hype like this was LeBron, and he came into a league where niggas still play defense. So dude, imagine, this kid's definitely gonna live up to the hype.
No.
The only thing that is weary is the body type with the endurance to keep up for 82 games.
Yeah, no,
To me.
But hold on. My thing is, imagine the Spurs lost that pick this year because they went for it all 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like
But why would they lose? Why would they lose the pick? Because of the luxury tax?
Yeah. So if you're in the second apron, for anything more than one over a 4-year span, that pick, so you can trade up to 7 years out. You can't trade back-to-back first-round picks, but you can trade, like, for instance, we're in 23. If you have all your picks right now, you could trade 23, you can trade 25, you could trade 27, you could trade 29. You can't trade back-to-back years. So you couldn't be like, I'm going to send you 23, 24, and 25. You can you can send out 23, you can pick swap 24, you can do all that, but you cannot trade away until after you've made the pick. So you can be like, okay, I'm picking for you and I'll trade it to you after, but you can't trade it in advance. And if it's a pick swap, no one's making that trade because they don't know what that pick is going to be, right? So at the end of the day, so you can't do that. So you can trade up to 7 years out, okay? When you hit that double apron, you can only trade 6 years out. So now you cannot trade that 7th year out. Then if you go into the second apron any time of the next 3 years, not only is that 7-year out pick frozen, but it moves to the end of the first round that year. So it's like I said. So what I'm saying is, like,
nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to try to do that because that's crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, it's going to lessen the more of transactions and the money. People are going to try to stay under it because they want to be able to make trades. And not only that, they can't sign buyout guys. They can't do their mid-levels. They can't send out money in trade. It's dollar for dollar for trade versus 110% to 125%. Like, there are so many penalties in that. So that's what I'm talking about from there. But anyways, we got all summer to get to the math. We got all summer to get to the math. Let's talk about the finals real quick before we finish up. So we're 1-1. I don't know if you'd say, I hate when people give a team momentum after one game, but it's 1-1. Denver has been They won the last game on the road in Phoenix. They won in Minnesota. They obviously won both games in LA. So they can definitely win in Miami. Miami won 3 games on the road in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's crazy, right? They won in New York. They won in Miami. They've won everywhere they've been, right, on the road. So Milwaukee. In Milwaukee. So knowing that, from what you've seen for the first 2 games, and obviously this doesn't mean who wins the series, but who do you have winning game 3?
Game 3, I think it just comes back down to, like, the reality of the situation, and then it's on, like, it's going to be on Miami to figure out what the wrinkle is for them to get back. You know what I mean? I just think, Jokic is just that cerebral that he could be like, okay, this is what I see. They're trying to do this. Okay, this worked for them before. It's not going to work now. I'm not going to force my hand on the scoring. I'm going to try to get somebody else available, even if I got to draw the double myself and shit, But then again, what happens is, like, in a series is just adjustments. So, but I think Denver wins game 3 just off the fact that they're technically supposed to be better than them. And then it'll be on Miami to counter,
Gotcha. So I have it going back to Denver 2-2. I don't really know how that's going to play out yet, because it just seems if Denver's role players make their shots, and if Miami's role players make their shots, then you just got a barn burner, right? But I think you probably can split that in these next 2 games. I don't know who's going to win game 3 or game 4, but if I had to guess, I think Denver will get game 3 and Miami will get game 4, and it goes back to Miami. At that point, it's a 3-game series with 2 games in Denver's building. I still have Denver winning this series. No shock that I have picked against Miami every round, and they burn me every time. But I feel, even though you want to get the feeling that it's Jimmy and the Heat's year, but I argue the fact that it's Denver's year. I just, like I said, the way the Lakers were playing, the way their defense was, the fact that they got swept, like I said, I mean, I think it's Denver's year. Miami would have to catch absolute fire. Denver might have to catch an injury or so, or just shots.
Yeah, it would have to be something like that, And if MPJ plays how he's supposed to play, then they have at least 3 guys scoring a certain amount of points, and that's more than Miami is going to do. You know what I mean?
Now, because of what they've done in the play-in and the 3 previous rounds, I would not be shocked if Miami won this series. Wouldn't be shocked. I'll be a little surprised, but I wouldn't.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked
because I think they've earned that. I think they've earned the fact that they can because they have every other round.
For me, it's more that this is Denver's first time too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
that's really where it's at for me in terms of if they win it. That would be the reason. One of the reasons why, like, they got to go through their little growing pains in there because Miami been there already. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Definitely Spo and definitely Jim. So
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll definitely hopefully have you on after these next 2
games. Yeah, let's do after because there's like I said, it's like 5 days between games. It's just doing after the next game. What is it, tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they play tomorrow, and then they probably won again till at least Sunday because the league.
Damn, for real?
No, Friday. Sorry, I forget what day of the week it is. Damn. They play tomorrow, then Friday. They play tomorrow, then Friday, and then probably Sunday. But the league won't touch a Saturday game ever for the finals. So plus they won't
do it.
They won't do it, no, because they don't want to do a finals game and on a weekend where like people are out, families are out. Like they'd rather do it like on the weeknights.
People are home.
And then hockey people forget hockey's finals right now too. So they're splitting too. So hockey will do Saturdays. So a lot of reason why a lot of these teams who share arenas, a lot of NBA games aren't on Saturdays for the most part is because usually hockey's taking up the building on Saturdays. So
or in the winter it's football.
Yeah. So. But then okay, cool. So we'll be back, maybe after the next game, if not after game 4 for sure. But appreciate you coming on as always. I wanted to get the Celtic perspective. Obviously, that was a unique series. So thank you for bringing some insight there. And for everyone else, thank you for tuning in. For everyone watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe. Let us know what you thought in the comment section. If anyone listening on Spotify or anyone else that you get everywhere else that you get your podcast, please do the same. And, for anyone that wants to, keep up with everything that I'm a part of, you can go ahead and scan that QR code that's on the screen on YouTube. And I appreciate you as always. Deadeye, again, appreciate your time, man. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yes, sir.